Good evening, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to this exciting event today. I'm Jashna Murli, the manager of the organizing committee here at the Teen Debater, and I must say I'm thrilled to be here with all of you today. Debating has always been more than just words. It's about thought, it's about challenge and growth. It's a place where ideas come alive, where we don't just explore different viewpoints, but also actively wrestle with them. In that process, we discover new perspectives, we sharpen our thinking, and become more attuned to the world around us. Today, we have gathered not just as competitors, but as thinkers, ready to dive into the conversations that push our boundaries and challenge our assumptions. Now, as I see the screen, I can't help but feel excited about the conversations that are about to unfold. Each of you, with your unique thoughts, your unique experiences, and of course, perspectives, bring something incredibly valuable to the table. What we create here today is a collective effort. It's an exchange of ideas, a mix of all our energies and intellect, where each voice adds a layer of richness to the discussions we have. This event is not just debate for genuine learning. It's a space where we all get to witness the power of all these viewpoints and how, in facing differing opinions, there's always room for mutual respect and growth. So, as we go through today's competition, I encourage each of you to listen not only with the intent to respond, but with the intent to understand. Because in the end, it's not just about the argument we make, it's about what we learn from each other. Thank you to everyone involved in making this event happen, especially the participants who have put their time and energy to be here today. You are the heart of this event, and it is your passion and commitment that makes moments like these so impactful. With that said, I am beyond excited to see what today's discussions take us. Let's dive in with open minds and a willingness to engage in meaningful and thought-provoking conversations. Let the debates begin.
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful speech. I'm Shri and I'm from Management Committee of Organizing Committee. So today we're just going to talk about the Turncoat event. But before that, just a little bit of background about the Teen Debater. We've been featured in a number of different news organizations, as you can see on the screen. And we always think that debate isn't just like an academic lifestyle. We think that it's also a very important life skill that you need for a number of things like analytical thinking, communication, and understanding the complexities of the world. So we're beyond excited to have you guys here. We'd love to see cameras if possible. So our aims are to promote mental well-being. So we don't want you guys to get burnt out with debate, and we want you guys to have a lot of fun today. We also want to enhance your critical thinking skills. So that's why we organize this event. And we also want to go ahead and drive social change. We want to make this a more accessible sport to everyone and expand your worldviews by enabling you to think on both sides of the house. We've had a number of success stories so far. You can see some pictures from our most successful events. We've had multiple events. Last week we had Space Track. We've had a huge essay writing competition. We hold a very big moon and weekly sessions on specific topics. So feel free to join in for all of those, just like you joined in for this one. So, what is the event that we're talking about today? So, we're going to have a
Shri, your voice is breaking.
um, is it not? Is it
Okay, guys, there was a clear network issue there. She'll join back in just a second. Let's wait. Again, I apologize for all the delays that are happening. There are some technical issues that are being faced here.
Sorry about that. I'm having some internet issues. Is it better now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Um, so what is the event that we're talking about today? So, like I said, you're going to have to speak for the motion for a specific amount of time and then flip to go ahead and oppose the motion within the same speech, right? So it's going to be very fast-paced and exciting. What's our goals and objectives, right? We want to make sure with for this debate, we want to make sure that you guys become flexible debaters and you have to think spontaneously. So the motions will be something that is easy enough, but it also means that you have to think on your feet. And it also helps you broaden your worldviews because you can go ahead and use the skills that you acquire from this event in all fields of your life. So always think about both sides of anything, right? So why did we choose this event to do this weekend? We wanted you guys to go ahead and level up your debating skills independent of traditional debate formats. Some of you might be parliamentary debaters, some of you might be MUNers, but we still want all of you guys to get a chance to speak today. And we also want you guys to learn how to condense your speeches and put out maximum impact in a minimum amount of time. So here's the procedure, and I know all of you guys are probably excited for this. So each person will be given a motion. So you'll be going into breakout rooms. Note that breakout rooms can only hold one person at a time. So we will be staggering you guys. So speeches are going to be 5 minutes long. So for 2 minutes, 30 seconds, you're going to speak for the motion. Then we'll be reminding you at 2 minutes 30 seconds to flip, and then you're going to speak against the motion. You're going to be given 10 minutes of preparation time. So yeah, um, we will not be announcing results, but yeah, just a few tips. Please make sure you don't get nervous. This is all for fun, anyways, so don't take on too much stress about it and just have fun. That's why we all do debating. But yeah, with that said, um, let's do it this way. So we will announce the motion in the main room right now. Um, we will announce the motion in the main room right now, post which we will ask you guys to move to the breakout rooms. We ask that all of you guys have your cameras on, and I'm sure everyone here is a very ethical debater, so please do not prep beyond the 10 minutes time. We don't have too many judges today because of like lots of commitments, so I hope you guys are able to uphold the integrity of the sport in and of itself. So we if there are any questions, you guys can go ahead and ask it now. I'd be happy to answer them. If not, let's just get to motion release. You guys can raise your hand, unmute, anything. We're a very small cohort today, so. Okay, I am going to assume that there aren't too many doubts or questions. If there are at any point of time, you guys can DM me in Zoom chat. If not, general questions. If you have a question about the motion that we're going to be giving you, you can definitely ask for motion clarifications. Just unmute and ask so everyone is able to listen to the answer to that. But yeah, in terms of like general questions on like how the teen debater works, for example, we will be happy to answer that post the session. But yeah, um, any other questions? I'd be happy to take them. All right, so I'm assuming that there are no other questions. I think there's still three people who can go ahead and turn on the cameras just so that we get to interact with you guys. People who won't be turning on their cameras won't receive certificates, so we really request that you guys turn on your cameras. It's unless you guys have a valid reason to not do so. If so, please let us know. Okay, with no other questions, we can move on to motion release. So the way this is going to work is very simple. I'm going to open two breakout rooms because there are two judges, me and Jaishna. So I'm just going to open two breakout rooms and give me a second. Right. I'm going to open two breakout rooms. Only one person go into a room at one point of time. So we will randomly just choose which one of you should go into the room. And we're going to hear you out for 5 minutes. Exceeding that, we're not going to take out notes and we'll ask you to kindly leave the room since we are running under a very tight schedule. But yeah, with all of that said, let us move on. So you guys are waiting for that. All right, so I'll verbally be reading out the motion first and then I'll put it within Zoom chat for everyone. We will keep a very strict 10-minute timer. So as soon as you're done with that, we'll just pick out two random individuals to go into the breakout room. No one else is allowed to join the breakout room. I will be disabling permissions, but just in case. With that said, the motion reads, is everyone there? If anyone needs like a couple of minutes, let me know. I'm assuming that's not the case. So, with that said, we'll move on with motion release, which is this house prefers, you guys can note this down, I'll also put it in the chat. This house prefers global centric history to national centric history to be taught within schools. I'll repeat one more time before sending it into chat. This house prefers. If you guys don't know what this house is, just read it as we prefer. This house prefers global centric history to national centric history to be taught within schools. If there are any clarifications on the motion, any terms you don't understand, any questions that you might have related to the motion or the topic at hand, you guys can just unmute and ask. All right, if there is nothing, I will be starting 10 minutes now. So you guys can go ahead and start prep. If at any point of time during prep you have questions, feel free to ask. If you're asking a question we can't quite hear, so you can drop it in the chat and I'll answer it that way too.
What does
You
global centric and national centric mean?
So, global centric means global history. So, if you look at a lot of, like, maybe for example, the French Revolution, national history looks like in the context of India, talking about colonial history. So, maybe like how the Britishers invaded India, or it looks like talking about maybe the Mughal empires, etc. If we're talking about global centric history, it's about talking about other nations. So in the context of India, it's going to look like talking about maybe US history or maybe European history, etc. National centric history is just the history of that particular nation. So this is about it being taught in schools, so in your history classes or your social classes, no matter what name you might know it.
Swiggy से गया
Sorry, I think your voice is breaking, so if you could put that
मुझे
down in
गया
chat, answer it. If there are no other questions, then debate starts 6:38. And please make sure you don't use any form of generative AI and the internet. Our judges are good enough to go ahead and identify that. So if you do, it is very likely that your speaks will take a tank. By speaks, I just mean like your speaker scores, which influence if you like win or not.
Wait, what is the theme about?
So
बीच में
I
डाल दिया
sorry, I put it in the chat.
What's the theme about?
I put it in the chat. So the theme
बेटा
is
अच्छा आदि पता है एक मिनट स्टे 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 डोंट डोंट हाँ नहीं सर है
Yeah, thank you. So the theme is this house prefers, or we prefer, you can read it anyways. This house prefers global centric history, which just means that you learn the history of other nations also, to national centric history, which is only learning about the history of that particular nation to be taught within schools. We've sent it across once more for your reference.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Just to clarify, we do not judge you on the basis of, like, the primary consideration in any debate is not going to be how well you have, like, you're able to go ahead and speak English, or the mastery that you have over the language. It is always going to be what kind of content you're putting across. So even if you're using simple terms, it's actually very, very good, because we're still going to score you on the basis of your content being first priority. So please do not worry about not being good enough, etc., etc. We are a very inclusive foundation, so we will make sure that, we're judging you on very, very fair grounds.
Okay, so first of all, why we should have a limit to how old people part of parliament can be should is because, right, okay, first of all, when you're older you face more physical problems than younger people. Like you're more prone to getting diseases, you're more prone to getting like the flu, you're more prone to getting like sick in general. And like, oh, there's a good case of this. A senator in the USA, her name's like Diane Feinstein, something like that. She actually like she served all the way until she died, and she died at like 90 years old. So like she served a long time. And in her last few years, she had a lot of struggles because when she was older, of course, she faced more like challenges. She got sick very often, so she was like absent like quite a number of times. And it really affected the judicial procedure because in US there's like this rule or law that like all senators need to there like to witness it. So like her not being there was really affecting the problem and like kind of made them more late and set them back a bit. Another thing is that when they're older and when she was present, like it came with a lot of problems, like sometimes like she might have gotten sick in the middle of the procedure, which was really bad. And like, okay, being old isn't necessarily a downside, but it is really bad if you are still in the parliament working and you're old. Like imagine like you get like some sort of stroke in the middle of your work. That would be really bad. And in the middle of the judicial procedure, they're already very stressed as is. They don't need more things to put on top of their stress. So it would be better to have a cut-off point so that not only so that the people can take a break, a mental break um from all the stress of being in the parliament. They can also like rejuvenate because they're not so young anymore, and they are more prone to diseases,
Flip.
so they can just rest. Okay. One thing why it's better to not have um a cut off point is that they the older people are really good, and as in they are really wise because they've been on earth for a longer time. They know more things that the youngsters don't, so they would know like a lot more than we don't know, like because they've been through many generations. They would know what has happened, and if we were about to make the same mistake as the previous generation, they would know to stop us and say, hey, this is the same mistake, we made this before, so we should stop. So it's good in that sense because they are very wise. Another thing is since they've been around for quite a while, they can be a bit influential. They know what to say and when to say it to get the people on their side so that like so that they can win more people over their side. Um, with this influence, it can also be good for the parliament because like the person can help rally up the people to support the parliament more and because they are this wise, people are more likely to trust them because like they can say, oh, you've been around longer, so they would know more than the new generation of parliament people know. So it can be good in that sense. Yeah, I'm done.
All right, thank you so much for that fine speech. Let me just get near to the main session. Close breakout room. Um, yeah, she should be here pretty soon. Yeah. All right. Hi, Niyati. Could you hear us?
Hi,
All right, good. Just reiterating for probably the fourth time today. Speeches are 5 minutes. I'll be verbally interrupting you at 2 minutes 30 seconds to go ahead and flip. So that's when you go ahead and flip. If I don't and your timer already shows it's past that, you can go ahead and flip like on yourself by your own judgment. But yeah, with that said, you can start anytime.
okay, so I'll be starting in the backward count of 3, 2, and 1. There comes a time in every institution, be it a family, a business, or a democracy, where the elders must step aside so that the next generation can take the reins. I stand before you today to say that the time has come for our political leadership. It is time to implement a reasonable and respectful age cap for politicians. Now, let me be clear. This is not about bias or unfairness. This is about relevance, capacity, and representation. In the United States, the average age of senators is around 65. Several of them are already in their 80s. Storm Thurmond served until the age of 100. Dianne Feinstein, with all due respect, remained in office until well into her 90s among rising concerns about her health and cognitive ability. Are we seriously saying that there is no one under the age of 80 who's capable enough to lead? Would you trust a 95-year-old to fly your plane, to perform surgery, to drive your school bus? Then why are we trusting them to make decisions about computing, climate change, or cryptocurrency regulation? Why are we giving them the responsibility to drive whole nations? The world is moving faster than ever. Artificial intelligence is changing jobs. Social media is driving elections. Climate change is not just a theory anymore. These are challenges that today's young and middle generations have to live through. So they deserve leaders who understand them. Yes, sure, age does bring wisdom, but wisdom is not exclusive to the elderly, and energy, empathy, and innovation often come from younger generations whose voices are too often drowned by the majority. We need an age gap not to insult, but to protect democracy itself, ensure that power circulates, to give our youth not just a vote, but a real stake in shaping the future. Moral traditions all over the world speak of knowing when to step back, to mentor, not to dominate, to pass the torch, not just to keep it to yourself. So I ask you, for the sake of a vibrant, responsive, and forward looking democracy, let's institute an age gap, not to silence our elders, but to empower our future. And if a democracy is about choice, then let the people choose without arbitrary age limits. Shouldn't the people be allowed to choose without arbitrary limits on age? After some thought, uh, we are asked to believe that age alone disqualifies a person from public service. That is, after some birth, they perhaps 75 or maybe 80, our seasoned leaders should be forced out. I stand against this idea because it is not only unnecessary, it can also be dangerous to some extent. We live in a time that worships youth and speed, but fast is not always wise, and new is not always better. Winston Churchill led Britain through the World War II in his 60s and returned as Prime Minister in his 70s. Ruth Ginsburg served as a US Supreme Court Justice into her 80s and delivered powerful opinions that has shaped generations. Nelson Mandela became a president at 75, leading with compassion and dignity after decades in prison. Should these voices also have been silenced by a law that said that they were way too old? What about the voters? A 78-year-old voter may feel better represented by someone who's closer to their age with shared life experiences. Age limits strip away choice, imposing a one size fits all kind of rule where democracy is supposed to thrive on diversity. Yes, some politicians stay for way too long, but that's not a problem of age. It is a problem of term limits, accountability, and transparency. Let the system address performance instead of biology. And let us not pretend that youth automatically means progress. Plenty of young politicians have brought chaos instead of clarity. Experience matters. Institutional memory matters. Knowing how to govern, how to compromise, and how to survive political storms matters. Morally, we must never become a society that discards its elders. From ancient tribes to modern families, the elders' role is sacred to guide, to warn, to remind us of where we come from. So instead of capping age, let's expand wisdom. Let's give voters the tools to evaluate health, ability, and policy, not just birth dates. So always let the people decide. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that fine speech. Thank you to both of you for what has been a wonderful session. We're just going to go ahead into the breakout rooms. You probably see like a breakout room called judging. We asked all of you guys to stay here. I asked both OC members to go into the judging room. We should be done within 5 minutes to 10 minutes maximum because you guys have given us an extremely hard decision to make. So we'll come back here and then we'd be ready to announce the results. So at the max, this should probably be like maximum until like 6:45, 6:50, and then we'll just get on with the closing ceremony. And that's on the higher end. Yes, I'll be happy to take any questions.
Could I be also able to join the breakout room as I'm also having some.
Okay, so let's do this, right? OC members, wait. We will call you once OC has their verdict, and then you can give us your thoughts. After
Okay.
which we'll go ahead and like think about the thoughts that you've given us a little bit more, and then we'll join back in the main room. Does that work? I'll send you an invite once OC is on consensus, or at least has a confederal decision, and then you can come and give your thoughts. We'd be very happy to hear that actually.
Thank you.
All right. OC members, I hope you guys see the judging breakout room. Uh, I think both of you are co-hosts, so you should be able to join. Even if not, I'll just assign you.
Yeah, I'll join.
Okay. Enjoy the views.
Sri, I'm not able to join. Can you just assign me?
Sorry, apologies. Network acting up again. I will assign you if you could just give me a co-host. I am so sorry.
Yes, wait a minute.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
What happened, guys?
No, nothing. Sorry about that. My net went again.
I was not able to join the breakout room, so.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
just going to try. This is weird, but I don't see Veda's name in breakout. Give me a second.
Yeah, she left the difficult room.
Okay, good.
There, you also join.
Yeah, I'll join.
So
Your speech was so good.
I missed a huge example. Like one of my main points was that
Me
example, and
too.
I missed it
No,
out.
I'm so sad. I wanted to add two more things to my speech about why I think that there should be like a cap on the age. But I forgot about it, and instead I kept on repeating the same point until time was up. Then I'm like, oh.
I missed one of the biggest points out in my speech. I kept it in the end because like I thought like I'll like say it in the end or something, and then I skimmed that whole point altogether.
Hey, but you also use Diane Feinstein. I also use her leh. Because I was
Yeah,
searching the web for like
searched
some
up some like
examples.
I searched up examples, and she was like in the top 3. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll just
Yeah.
use that example.
That was so bad.
Amanda just spoke the example and forgot her name. Like, really.
Huh?
So what's the time in Singapore right now?
9:13.
And it's just
Huh? Sorry, you're a bit laggy.
am I audible?
Yeah, you are now.
Okay, so in your ninth it would be coming something like the time system in the geography section.
Huh?
There's a thing called as time section in the geography.
Really? What do
Yeah,
you learn
Out
about?
of geography this year. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I don't have any kind of social studies anymore.
You don't
why?
need to take social studies.
You have to
That's
choose
so good.
7 subjects, right? In Cambridge assessment.
5 is minimum, 8 is maximum. I chose 8. I still want 2 more.
No, actually,
Wait.
the school
So
near
good you
me,
don't.
which is Cambridge assessment affiliated school, it offers 7 to 12 subject range.
Oh wow,
Like
that's a
minimum
lot.
is 7.
Minimum is 7 and the maximum is 12 or more.
Like
That sounds
I'm guessing
stressful.
English, math, and a third language is compulsory. And then you have like
No, there's nothing compulsory.
nothing is compulsory. Like you can drop math
Yeah,
and English.
yeah,
Why-
we can
what-
drop those two.
How does that make sense?
I don't know. It's just, it's affiliated with King's College London.
No, like our school is like a proper Cambridge board school, and like even though they don't have all of the Cambridge subjects, they like have quite a lot of them.
Wait,
Yeah,
how come you
yeah,
can
I
drop
do
social
agree.
studies?
No,
Like
we
for
have
me, it's
till
compulsory.
8th, English, math are compulsory, and then this year, like for example, like till our previous batches, we could only choose first language English, but from like our batch onwards, you can choose either English as second language or first language English. So ESL is
Ooh.
ESL is supposed to be simpler, but I don't get how it works. Like
You must be having your GP project in your
your
ninth.
GP was optional. I wanted to take GP. I already had 8 subjects.
Ooh. I have
I
like
want to take
7 subjects.
psychology, EVM, and GP, but I already have 8 subjects.
Oh, wait, what do you learn in psychology? It sounds so
I don't know.
fun.
I wanted to. One of my friends is taken psychology. She says that it's pretty interesting, but I don't know.
Oh, sounds really fun. I'm taking NFS, Nutrition Food Science, which is like cooking and the science behind food. Yeah, it's
Like
really
you'll have to be
interesting.
chemistry. I hate chemistry.
Huh? No, I hate chemistry, but like
Chemistry
I
is
have
hard
to
till
take
like
it.
8th grade, but like here till 8th is like okay-ish level of hard. But from 9th onwards, it gets really easy because you're just repeating all the things you did in like 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Oh, I hate chemistry, but like it's compulsory for me to take science, so I need to take it anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
even
like,
if you like, if you take commerce, then you won't have to take sciences. But if you take like anything, even non-med, then you'll have to take physics and chemistry. Like, there's no option.
I'm also taking physics and chemistry. It's so hard. I hate
Physics
science.
is like physics got hard this year. Till last year it was easy, and chemistry got easy this year. Like, I always hated chemistry.
I think they're just making one thing easier so they can justify making the other thing hard, you know?
Yeah, I mean, because physics this year we have like proper numericals. Like till last year it was just like speed, area, volume, whatever. But this year you have
Yeah.
like proper that velocity and blah blah blah.
Mm. So, for me, right, one reason why I don't like physics is because my teacher can't teach. I don't understand a single thing because he like fresh out, like just finished his university and studies, and then come to teach, and like he can't teach.
Like
Like
our
you know,
teacher is pretty like physics teacher is pretty good, but she's asleep half the time she speaks. So
uh,
like dude, why are you even in the class if you're half asleep?
for me, my teacher he tries to teach, but the problem is he's learning with us. We're not learning from him. He's like learning alongside us, cause like sometimes he do the equation. Then after that, one of my classmates is like, "Hey, Joe, this question is wrong. Your equation is wrong. The whole thing wrong." Then he's like, "Huh? No, my God." Then he do the working. Then he's like, "Oh yeah, it's wrong. We need to redo." Then I'm just like,
Yeah, like by the time someone points out that the teacher's equation is wrong, I'm still processing like what happened. How is it wrong?
yeah. Science is just too hard for me.
No,
I'm
science
a
is
art.
easy, but chemistry is bad.
Oh, I'm a art type of person. You know, I'm better at arts than my sciences and maths. I'm so
So
bad
I'm
at
good
science
at
and
math
maths.
and science, but I don't like science, especially
Oh.
chemistry. And this year physics too. Physics is also bad.
Well, at least you're good at math and science. They're like the more
IGCSE
important parts of
subjects are very better than CBSE subjects, if I'm not wrong. They are very deep and stuff, but they are
Yeah, like
having extra things in them. Like if I'm talking about biology, chemistry, and physics, there's a lot of hell stuff in those subjects which you shouldn't even study about because that's non-relevant, even if you are doing bachelor's, master's in that subject.
Exactly.
no, but in CBS it's all like theory, 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 and which doesn't make any sense at all. Like this is completely theory.
But
Sometimes
but what you study in CBSE, you are getting those same things in your 11th and 12th grade, the same things in your master's or PhD program that you would be doing after bachelor's. So
See, but if you do
sometimes
Cambridge like 10th grade, because in 9th grade you cover the syllabus for 10th grade as well, like majority of the syllabus. So if you
yeah,
shift to CBSE after 10th, CBSE is like very easy.
yeah, CBSE.
sometimes I wonder why we're made to learn physics. Cause like if you don't want to become an engineer, what use of it is it in your life? Like I'm not gonna calculate the velocity my cat is walking at, you know?
There's in India there's very, very, very much people who did engineering and now they are unemployed.
The
Like a
majority of
Oh,
the engineers are like that
yeah,
only.
yeah.
Majority engineers are like that.
I don't
you
know what
know,
is in
I thought
Singapore.
Until
only
and
like
unless you're
artists can
specialized in
get
a like
unemployed.
certain field, then you're unemployed.
If
Mm,
if you are, even if you have done engineering from the best college in India, you can still end up unemployed. So that's the thing.
Like half the
yeah.
time, engineers are doing like everything except engineering. Like
Yeah,
they're doing
Mm.
everything but not engineering. Like we
they
even
can
study
fix
the
your
first.
fans, they can fix your washing machines, they can do anything, they can do household chores, but they are not doing engineering. So that's the point in India.
Oh,
But in India, there are also like the three fixed careers that you'll do that will give you respect. It's a doctor, lawyer, and engineer. Anything else you do, there's no scope for it.
ooh.
Like I mean, especially in
No,
like
no, no, no,
arts
no.
and
Wait
stuff.
a second. I want to add something. There's scope of many things in India, but there's a taboo here in India, which
Yeah,
is really supporting either you are doing engineering or you are going into medical field. So that's
Mm,
it. If you are doing anything from CBSE or
like
something.
medicine field also you have to be a doctor. You
mm.
can't
No,
end
I
up as a
feel like
nurse or a
cause
professor or
like
something.
cause like arts have a lot of risks, you know? Like you can just get taken over by a AI bot like with a snap of the finger, then like, oh you're fired, bye AI. Yeah, so it's like it's really risky if you wanna take a arts course. But like the thing is I'm horrible at math and science. There's no way I can
Singapore
No, but
is
in
become
very
arts there
like
are like
something
some
okay.
relevant.
specific fields which like AI can't just take over like that.
Yeah.
Mm, there are some specific
But
fields,
but
but like
I don't know about your country, your Malaysia or Singapore, but there's a saying in India that if whenever the world strikes with recession or something like those, India would never get recession in itself because India is that much self-sufficient. I know India is trade deficit country, import deficit country, but still they're saying that you can run your household in India if you are even earning around 60 Singaporean dollar per month. You
oh
can earn your
Yeah, because
living in
India is like
India.
a really cheap country and we produce
Yeah,
majority of the stuff.
yeah.
yeah,
So if
that's
I'm
good
talking,
also.
so if
Like if
I'm talking
recession,
like in India, you can get a veg burger for just 50 cents, whereas in the US or the UK, you would be giving $3 to $4 for that same veg burger.
yeah. Wait, I agree with that, but I have a question. Do you want to name an art career, and I'll see whether AI can take over that career or not? Because I feel like with art now, a lot of things can be taken over by AI. Like it's really easy. You want to name a
No, but
career? Yeah.
like creative fields like maybe journalism writing. I mean AI could
They
take over
Journalism
them,
can be
but
they
taken
can
over by
take over.
AI.
AI could be
Journal
taken over.
it
Like,
can
yeah,
yeah,
but AI could be,
AI
but
can take over journalism. It's
yeah,
very easy for
no,
AI to do. The only thing is
the hosts are
the
here.
only thing AI can't take over is like, oh oops.
Guys,
Hi.
your result is
You
here.
guys can
Hello.
continue talking.
Hi,
Continue.
hi. It's fine if you guys want to talk. It'll take us like 2 minutes to just quickly, I don't know, AI generate a closing speech. No, we're not going to do that. I have to sit and write
We're
down.
not gonna do that. Swear.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Sorry.
That's so funny. We were just talking about AI.
Yeah, we were just talking about how AI could take over many jobs in India and how engineers are unemployed in India.
Oh,
There's another
I'm
side.
actually writing a research paper on like how AI is going to take over law. So that's like super cool. I wish I listened to your conversation.
Oh, by the way,
Oh.
in which are you doing bachelor's right now?
No, I'm in school. I'm in like 10th grade.
Okay, I'm also in my 11th grade right now.
We all are in
I
school.
think that
Well, yeah,
AI
I'm
can
also
take
in 10th
over a
grade.
lot of jobs. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
jobs they can take over, like especially in the arts field. That's why a lot of people now are telling other
No, but
people to
AI
go
is
like to math
creative,
and science.
but after like some time the same like even if you use
Yeah,
different AI,
it's
like
repetitive,
same, yeah,
you
it's very
know.
repetitive.
Yeah, like I feel like AI can take over, but only for a while before it starts
It's
repeating
repetitive due
itself,
to its
you know?
training model.
Yeah, but then I think that, like, look, in the long term, even if it's repetitive in the short term, I think companies have enough incentive to go ahead and create like better AI models that are fed with more training data such
know,
that they're able
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
The
one
only
thing that
reason it's
AI
companies
can't really
repetitive,
cap
the
one thing that
one we keep doing this. Okay. The one reason why AI is repetitive is because of the smaller is a training like
Yeah,
material.
data set.
If we just widen the
yeah
material, there's gonna be less repetition.
No, but still, like,
I,
even, like after some time, it will end up being repetitive. Like, I mean, compared to human creativity, AI is nothing. I mean,
yeah, like in the
that's
long
right.
run, AI will
Yeah,
still say the same things again. Because AI
yeah.
can't
I mean,
capture emotion. AI doesn't go
yeah,
through the same
it
things that
doesn't
we
have
go through
models
every
and
day.
can't.
well,
Yeah,
Models
so
and
like
emotions are one thing that majorly lacks in AI.
yeah, but then I
yeah.
think another part
Depends
of
on the
how
prompts, no?
I think another part of that is just that there's this is pretty interesting, and I'm kind of like a fanatic about this. So I love geeking out on this, even though we're supposed to start with closing ceremony, but then I just want to get this out there. So I think there's something called artificial general intelligence that's probably going to be made by 2075 is the prediction, but then it could also be as early as 2035. It's just up in the air right now. Artificial general intelligence is probably going to be much better than the kind of chat GPT access that we have right now. But then even
and
if not, right, on terms of like just one second, I'm sorry. On terms of like empathy, there's something called affective computing with an A. So affective computing, which is basically going to be able to mimic and understand and empathize with human emotions. So like
So
basically
wait, AI can actually take over our jobs for real?
well, I think there's like it's probably it's going to take away jobs as we know it, probably. But then I think it also creates much more avenues because like human society is such that even if you lose like a lot of jobs, it's probably going to re-engineer itself to have like a vast majority of jobs that AI probably can't take over. So yeah, we just adapt to it. Even if there are short-term harms, in the long term we adapt to it.
Maybe I should become like taste tester. Because how can
It's
AI replicate taste testing? You know?
yeah,
Just
it's
taste
like
tester.
saying when you got letters, it's like saying now we don't have anyone to go and tell the information to the other person because you got letters. It's like that. You'll get more jobs eventually.
Yeah, but like the eventually we don't know how long. So I'm just maybe I should just look for an easy job that doesn't require that much thought and AI can take over. Like taste testing, you know? How can AI taste the food?
Yeah,
It
that
can't
makes
eat.
sense.
Yeah. Just go into the field. Oh, I'm certified. Yeah, then you eat the food. Then you get free food as
there
a
is
plus,
Yeah,
also
you
and then you
know?
get
saying
free food. What's better?
Yeah. And
necessity
then you
is
can
the
say, oh, this
mother of
good.
inventions, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, another
if we
sorry,
are
you say
even
first.
losing jobs, we would be generating more jobs that
Yeah,
would be like AI handlers or
Yeah,
those
But
that can
unless
manage
companies are
AI.
extra greedy, because you know a lot of companies now are very greedy one. So like they might just take away some jobs or say, oh sorry, just go
bye
into
bye.
another job. I
Bye
feel like
bye.
everyone is greedy now. Like
Right, but then
companies.
even if companies have a profit incentive, governments also have like a voter incentive, right? So like you're probably going to have
True.
regulation that says, okay, so at least 40% of your workforce has to be human or something like that. So I think
Unless the government is also corrupted. Corruption is everywhere,
But
you
but
know?
but
But still, they need to
until
get votes
unless
in
yeah,
the
but
end.
then
unless democracy or something known
Yeah,
as
unless it's
democracy
communist.
exists, government cannot do anything.
Unless
Because
Unless it's communist, like Hitler.
no, but then there are
like Hitler,
three
but then there are world
that's an extreme
leaders like
scenario.
USA or USSR. It was oppressing Hitler,
no, but then
right?
Yeah.
there was
There'll
there was
always be
three
oppressors for
reasons.
everything.
Yeah, but there are three reasons as to why governments will still care. Firstly, they have electoral incentives. Like this is in most democracies, right? So they're probably going to go ahead and do this kind of regulation. And then you're also going to have like international agreements. Like if I'm not wrong, the EU is already working on an AI Act. So you're probably going to have much more. Just think about like 2 decades down,
And if
right?
I'm not wrong, that EU has also implemented something AI Act that you cannot go
Yes,
beyond this
yes.
much of that
yes.
generative.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
You
the
cannot
second,
give consciousness
yeah.
to AI so that it couldn't wipe out the human entity out
Yeah,
of the.
exactly, exactly. I think they have like severe restrictions on like to what extent you can go ahead and give it capacity. But then the second reason is even in autocratic regimes, like even if we go ahead and say that they're not democracies and they have no incentive to care about the people, when there's a vast majority of them unemployed, it leads to severe economic harm. And obviously, no leader wants that, right? Because even if they're really, really bad, they have a profit incentive insofar as they want like maximization of the amount of money that they have and the amount of power that they have. In the international circuit, as soon as you, oh wait, who's that? Okay, in the international circuit, as soon as you go ahead and lose like your economic power and your soft power that you get by virtue of like complying with international regulations, probably far, far worse for you. But then we should probably stop talking about this because I feel like we're going severely off track here.
Yeah, we are. We should probably start the closing ceremony now.
All
We're
right.
jumping from different topics.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I tend to geek out a little bit.
It's around
It's an interesting
9:45
topic.
or
It's
so in
fine.
Singapore.
That's
So
like
she need to
everyone in
sleep.
this room, though. Geeking out, like almost everyone in this room. I hope.
Right. I think we have like a new person who just joined us. I'm guessing they're a spectator. I'm not sure. Okay, regardless, let's probably start with the closing ceremony. So, just before we go ahead with the results announcement, I really want to talk about you guys know how long it took us to deliberate. So, the verdict is extremely, extremely close. So, we'd like to thank both of you guys for like amazing speeches, which we really enjoyed listening to and judging. It was actually quite hard from our end, too. The second thing is, I want to thank everyone who participated within the Turncoat competition because without you guys, we just wouldn't have such an amazing competitive event. And like, even if you didn't break, it's been extremely, extremely wonderful to listen to all of your speeches. We've been talking about that non-stop on our WhatsApp groups, appreciating all of your speeches. The third person I want to thank is just OC and then everyone who helped out in planning this event. They actually took my mumble jumble and actually made an amazing event out of it. So, like, props to them on that. With that said, thank you guys so much for attending and giving your amazing speeches and judging in terms of like OC members and those who could not join us today because they had other responsibilities. I'm sure you guys are waiting for results, so we'll get on with that. So, the motion that we were talking about today was that this house would institute an age gap for politicians, right? In what was an incredibly competitive and incredibly amazing finals, the initial verdict was a 2-1 split in favor of Niyati. However, we did deliberate for quite a while. The 2-1 split, I was the one who dissented, so I thought Amanda should win. After like a heavy amount of deliberation, I'll tell you this took like 10 minutes, we were able to come to a consensus decision of a 3-0 split in favor of Amanda. That means that Amanda won like with no dissent whatsoever. So congratulations, Amanda, on that. Commiserations, Niyati, but then you did amazing. That's already proven by like how much it took to deliberate. So yeah, it was barely a 0.5 to 1 like speaker point margin within our sheets. So we could definitely tell you the quality of this final was amazing. So yeah, congratulations to the both of you for making it this fun. Congratulations, Amanda, on winning this entire event.